So welcome, Gladys. We greatly appreciate your leadership. As always, we begin all things by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We acknowledge all our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation. So please, our beloved colleague Gladys, introduce yourself to our listeners, viewers, and tell us a little bit about your remarkable work.
Well, greetings to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for welcoming me into this space. I'm so happy to spend time with you today. Chatting. I'm Gladys Ahovi, as you know, but some others may not. And I am the CEO for the Foundation for Black Communities, working out of Toronto and supporting the nation across Canada, Black communities across Canada.
We give thanks, Gladys. We give thanks. So how does it feel to be the CEO of such a historical and monumental pillar in the Black community? FFBC not only hit the ground running, but the impact has been truly remarkable, and we've seen it at SETC, and we've seen it across the country. Like how does it feel to lead something that is so remarkable in this time, in this season?
It's like a privilege. It's a real honor, and certainly feels like a privilege. I mean, FFBC is the culmination of a division and work of many people over many years. You know, really, you know, the stewards, the ones who toiled to have Black people recognized, to have Black people free, to have Black people, you know, really advance a wide variety of initiatives, thinking, investments, etc. So it feels like a privilege. It's heavy, you know, being able to support all Black communities across the country with a wide variety of needs is not an easy thing to carry. And so it feels like a real privilege, and I'm really honored to be able to take it on.
Well, thank you so much. And I give thanks for your leadership as always. So the annual Black Leadership in Social Impact Summit is quickly approaching. FFBC collaboration with the Future of Good. It's been hosted for 2 or 3 years now. Always remarkable.
Yes.
I think I spoke at the first one.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have any highlights from past summits or anticipating any actual insights from this year's speakers and presenters?
You know, I think this year we're particularly excited because we have long been talking about how do we move our ideas forward. And now there are resources in our ecosystem that are seeding those ideas. We're bringing together voices not only from across Canada, but from across the water. We've got Derek Bardwell, who is brilliant, joining us from the UK, who's going to be sharing his insights. We've got Dr. Jackie Copeland, the lead voice, organizer, visionary for Black Philanthropy Month, who's connected with organizations and really galvanized a movement that centers and positions the power of Black philanthropy, that we're not only dependent on philanthropy supporting us, but we're really driving and shaping it, and have been for time and, since time immemorial. So we're really excited about that. I think people are, I really want to encourage people to come and attend Black Philanthropy Month, knowing that they'll have a chance to share their thoughts, but also gain great ideas and have the opportunity to collaborate going forward. So we're really excited about that.
That's remarkable. And thank you for your leadership in terms of, one, always amplifying the voices of other folks. I love your approach to servant leadership and just really censoring others in your work, and more importantly, sharing this remarkable events with all Canadians. I'm really excited about it as well.
Yeah, it's not about us, right? As individuals, it's not about us. It never has been. You look at the example of any Black community in the world, it never is centered around a particular individual, right? We respect our elders, we defer to the guidance and leadership of our elders, but it is never centered around one particular individual. And this is something that is core to our work. It is core to the ethos of this organization. It is what will hold us together through all the complexity and difficulty and the naysayers that are hovering, waiting for something to go wrong, because money has been put in the hands of Black people to self-determine where it should go, how it should be used, right? And how we speak about it. And not everybody is thrilled about that. We're not in denial about that, but it's up to us to support each other and make this be what we need it to be.
Ashe. I couldn't say it. I don't think anyone could say it better. Thank you. Thank you. So what trends in the social impact sector are you seeing? And are you working on anything innovative that you'd like to share right now that we may not be aware of?
So what trends are we seeing? That's a really great question. I mean, I think we're seeing I don't think it's the emergence. I hear a lot of people talk about the emergence of Black thought and Black voices in a wide variety of sectors where we're not, usually represented. In my opinion, I don't think that's new. I think we are just benefiting from the opportunity of creating spaces for people to speak about their work openly. We no longer have to, we should be self-identifying as Black. Individuals are being encouraged to identify as Black. They're being supported. They're being invested in ways that they haven't been before. And so now we know that the individuals behind, the thinking behind are Black people, Black leaders. That could change, right? That could change. And we're already seeing the waves of change with a lot of the equity work, the inclusion work being challenged, right? From education, from affirmative action. We're starting to see that challenge and change. The lawsuit against the fund in the US that is designed to invest in Black women entrepreneurs. I mean, I think, this is the trend that I'm starting to observe in terms of the challenge to continuing to advance this work. And so one of the things that we're deeply thinking about is what bubble do we create? What sort of supportive infrastructure do we create so that this work can be continued? And as individuals are challenged, that they have a set of resources they can tap into to not only continue to work their work, but protect and defend their work going forward. So we're really watching this closely and learning from what resources are being galvanized to do this, and figuring out how do we keep Black communities encouraged to continue doing what they're doing and bring their ideas and their concepts forward, to not be deterred by what we're starting to see happening around us.
Sure. Thank you so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your candor and all your actionable insights. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but I believe you are. Setsia and our colleagues, remarkable colleagues, built a table called Beyond Solidarity. And this is the National Indigenous and Black Table to coordinate policy, to coordinate advocacy, to coordinate collaboration, essentially. And I'm grateful to our colleague Jeff Sear, Wahi at Raven Indigenous Capital, Shadi Fez at NAFC, Wanda, the Indigenous Peoples Resilience Fund, Craig Wellington, Liban and FFBC and Reimagine Labs, Tiffany Calendar, and so many others that are part of this conversation. Primarily because when we look to our neighbors to the States, a lot of 501c3s in the Latinx, Black, and Indigenous communities have been mobilizing and organizing for years. And they were astonished that Black and Indigenous communities did not have a quarterly or structured framework around meeting and convening. So we meet ad hocly, we engage, we partner, we collaborate, but nothing structured or formal. So in terms of your thoughts around how Black and Indigenous communities can come together and collaborate, what are some insights you'd like to share with folks, just from your perspective and your vantage points?
I think this is really interesting. So first of all, I find it interesting, I am also surprised that we don't collaborate and convene in this way, across racialized communities, across underserved, underrepresented communities. There is power in numbers. And there's power in numbers, and there are so many examples of how you can come together with others because you share the same pain, you share the same challenges, and make advances that benefit all of these communities. This idea, Canada is a different landscape in terms of how we approach social innovation, how we approach addressing social issues, how we participate politically. It's very different here. We've got these big monopolies, right? Everything becomes an all or nothing conversation. And our dependence and our reliance on our central government at the federal level, at the provincial level, even at the regional level, is so heavy in terms of how our work is resourced that it really compromises and challenges the local, our everyday organizations doing the work on the ground around how much they push against that system. Because what is the alternative? What is the alternative? And so if we bring our organizations together to really think about how do we pool? If you challenge and you push and we're all behind you, and they come back and say, you know what, we're pulling that funding, we don't want to be part of that rhetoric, that there's a safety net. These others will kind of pull together and make sure that doesn't fall, right? Your work doesn't fall as a result. Or stand up and say, no, they have the right They have the right to challenge a system that maybe was never designed to support them anyways. And so when they point out where the flaws are, you don't penalize them or, for speaking openly. That's not how we do this work. That's not how we're going to take care of things going forward. And so I think there's tremendous opportunity. I question why that relationship and that working table is not formalized. Formalize it, put some structure around it. And if FFB is able to assist with that, happy to do so. I think one of the things that FFBC really wants to be able to do is when we think about our own challenge in addressing the impact of anti-Black racism, the effects of anti-Black racism, they are so plentiful that for us to be able to put our finger on something and say we move the needle on it, we need to be intentional with every single dollar, every single meeting, every single conversation. And so I would challenge this group to do the same thing. Our needs are tremendous. You pick a starting point, you formalize your work and share the load and be clear about what do we want to move the needle on. So when it happens, you all know, and you all know what it means for each of the communities that you're representing. This all or nothing game needs to be flipped in our favor, right? What we're doing needs to be for all of us. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for any of us or for any of us at all. So I would definitely, encourage the group, formalize it.
Ashe. Thank you so much for your work. I always love when I speak to thought leaders that are also practitioners of this work. So
it is a difference, huh?
Oh,
there is a difference there. Yeah.
So when I engage folks that are thought leaders and practitioners, it creates a remarkable conversation and lots of actionable insights. So I appreciate you. So my last question is, do you have any calls to action or closing thoughts for our listeners and viewers?
Oh gosh, calls to action. My first one would be to think about what you've been working on for a very long time. Think about the tables you sit at and how long you've been sitting there and how long you've been looking at the same faces around that table, discussing the same challenge. And ask yourself, what has changed? What have you moved? If you don't have a clear answer to that question, challenge yourself to make sure that the next time you're at that table, sitting around with those same faces, you ask everybody else that question and come up with an answer, or decide that you will move something in a certain amount of time, right? I think we're in a space, we need to challenge ourselves to keep the work moving and not get stagnated and stalled by all the other things that are making it so difficult. And I find this in my own daily practice and my own work. There are so many things that can interrupt our ability to fulfill the need or a portion of that need, or just move the needle on something. And we constantly have to be getting ourselves out of the mire, moving all this bush and brush that's in our face all the time, or being pushed in our face all the time, out of the way, so you can just keep doing what you need to do.
Ashe. Thank you so much. And because I've known you so long, I'm asking you one more question that we've been asking folks for a while now. At your 90th birthday party, what do you want your friends
cannot wait.
What do you want your friends and family to say about Gladys?
At my 90th birthday party, it's interesting, what do I want them to say? When you said 90th birthday party, I immediately I had a visual in my head around watching who I want to see in that room. Not even thinking about what I want people to say, but my vision is who I want to see in that room. And those faces are very clear. I know who those faces are. I want to see them enjoying themselves. I want to see them dancing. I want to hear everybody's favorite song. When you know somebody's song and you hear the song and you look at that person because they're about to hit every move. That's what I want to see at my 90th birthday party. And I think I'm going to see your moves there, Victor.
Indeed, my beloved sister, indeed. So we'll close the way we began this interview by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on, our creator, the various land. We acknowledge all our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you for creating this platform and keeping it going. You can stop. You have a choice. The fact that you choose to create space to have these conversations and share them, and hopefully that they inspire other people, it's really important. I thank you so much for it, and I want you to continue as much as you can. And if you ever feel like you have had enough. You're at your limit. You let us know and we will figure out what we do to keep you going.
We appreciate you so much, fam. Thank
Thank
you.
you.